Well, hello, everybody. We're going to ask the question, who were the descendants of Cain? In order to get some perspective on this, we need to understand what we're looking at, that this is a graph of 6,000 years of history on the y-axis, and then on the x-axis we have the equator with the northern hemisphere up here. Southern hemisphere is down here. And so what we have is, well, let's say we can just zoom into the United States that's over here in the bottom right, and we can look at Abraham Lincoln. How about that? See, 1861 to 1865, President of the Northern States of America. So the United States is over here, and that gives us perspective of where we are location-wise, and then when we zoom all the way out, we can get the perspective of time. And we're talking about the descendants of Cain. Geographically, we don't really know where they are, but right now Israel is in the Middle East, and so this blue line is what signifies the history of Israel, all the way back to, see, here's Abraham and the 12 sons of Abraham. We have Shem, Ham, and Japheth here, and then if we go up further, we can see the genealogy up to Adam. So here is where Adam is placed in history. The Hebrew account gives us the lifespans of these people, and then we're also told about the story of Cain and Abel. So here is Cain, and we're going to be talking about Cain's descendants here. So these red bars are what we're talking about with the descendants of Cain. So it's amazing to see how about 1,700 years of history is compacted in 5 books of Genesis. And as a warning, there are some confusing names. There are 2 people named Enoch. One is the son of Jared, descended from the righteous line of Seth, and the other is the son of selfish Cain. So let's look at these 2 guys. I'll highlight them just to see. Here's Enoch of the line of Cain. Let's see if we can fill him with another color. And then over here we have Enoch of the line of Seth. We also have Lamech of the line of Cain. We'll give him a different color. And the other Lamech is the father of Noah. And so he's right here. Lamech, the father of Noah. So gets a little bit confusing if you're studying word by word the Hebrew record, but when you can visually see it like this, you can get a much greater understanding. And that is my hope in creating this, is to get great understanding of how Hebrew history interacts with the history of the world. So here we see the 2 Enochs, one there and there. And we also see the 2 Lamechs, one there and one there. We are given the lifespans of the righteous line of Seth, but we weren't given the times and dates when Cain or his descendants lived, just the genealogy and perhaps the story sequence. So perhaps some of these life bars are shifted up a little bit. And we can see that all of these family members are contemporaries of each other. Cain living along with Cain, and Lamech living along with Lamech. Now, as we've heard before, Cain built the first city, named it after his son Enoch over here. The first city over here, and we can see that that's right in the boundary of where Enoch lived. Enoch is this life bar that is in yellow. So Enoch is the 3rd generation. We then have the genealogy spanning Irad, 4th generation. Nahujael, 5th generation. Methusael, 6th generation. And then Lamech in the 7th generation. Now in generation 7, Lamech decided to break the mold of marriage and have 2 wives. and he decided to increase the murder statistics that his great-great-great-grandpa Cain started. Lamech married Ada and Zillah and had 4 children. So you see Jabal and Jubal from Ada, and you see Tubal-Cain and his sister Naamah from Zillah. Now, I am laughing hysterically at the attitude of Lamech. Of all the detail we are given in the Old Testament and in Genesis, we end up getting to read the lyrics to the first top pop chart song. We have the lyrics in Genesis 4:23 and 24. And Lamech said unto his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. Ye wives of Lamech, hearken unto my speech. For I have slain a man to my wounding, and a young man to my hurt. If Cain shall be avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 70 and 7-fold. This makes me just laugh my head off about the attitude of Lamech. I just think, the poor wives. We don't see God talking to Lamech in this scene like we did after Cain killed Abel. We don't have a conversation about God's mercy here. We just have Lamech setting himself up to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, however he wants, as often as he wants, with whoever he wants. Lamech makes the assumption that since God had mercy on Cain with 7-fold mercy vengeance units, God is now obligated and committed to giving Lamech 77-fold mercy vengeance units. It's really just Lamech making this up out of thin air. So we don't see any contract or response from God. It is merely instructive to sense the attitude of the haughty, prideful Lamech. And I'm curious how his marriage has worked out. Maybe I'll get to see the replay someday. But the kids had better things to do than listen to their dad's cackling after hearing his lyrics. We see them suddenly needing to invent things to do. So we find ourselves in Genesis 4:20 to 22. And Ada bare Jabal. He was the father of such as dwell in tents, and of such as have cattle. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handle the harp and organ. And Zillah, she also bore Tubal-Cain, an instructor of every artificer in brass and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. So I'm fascinated with the 4 children of Lamech because we have just gained the understanding of the origin of nomads, ranching, music, and metalworking. And this is in the line of Cain. It is not as the secularists have us twisted up, that people wandered around for 50 or 100,000 years aimlessly, grunting to each other and eating sticks. By the way, what would the population be if we used statistics to determine how many people should be on this earth if people were here for 100,000 years? Would we get a more accurate answer if we guessed there was a catastrophic worldwide flood 4,400 years ago? Anyhow, we have a fully developed society with niche jobs, just a few years down from Cain, the tiller, and Abel, the keeper of sheep. We have a more complex social structure. We simply have people trying to make their lives easier and inventing new tools, new tricks, and new techniques. So people were smart since the beginning of time. We underestimate them because of what we're taught at the universities. Well, I just want to thank you for watching, and I hope this video made clear the descendants of Cain from the Hebrew perspective. And it's always free to share, subscribe, thumbs up, and write comments. I hope to connect with you in the next video. Have a great week.